Alright, I'm in the midst of finally being able to tear down this engine. It's been sitting for like 2 weeks, and well, I've just been real busy with a lot of other crap and diagnostic jobs and all the fancy shit. So, and I got to have some me time. So I'm finally going to be able to pull this motor down. There's the gaping hole from when we initially saw it. This is the original motor. I got it jacked up as hell now. Just got happy, jacking happy. That don't even sound right. But this was the engine I had did the last free the engine on the Scion. So this was that motor, and I was very curious to see what's inside of it. So I'm gonna get on the stand over there, and we're gonna tear it down and just inspect it to see what happened. Let's see if we can make this happen here. So I'm gonna start off by pulling the coils off. This is no different from any other 2A ZFE engine. I got half of the bottom end already torn out anyway. Oh shit. Ooh, that's probably gonna be a bad one. 10 millimeters to pull the valve cover off. There's other fasteners in here, but oh, in case you want to see inside the valve cover, this is what that looked like. I mean, okay, so I got part of the story from what happened. I'm gonna pull these cams out while I'm talking. So I got the story for what happened. The lady who owned the car went to I'm gonna have to ask her like the exact location, but she went to a common oil change spot. And what had happened was, you know, the routine, they didn't, well, this place, they didn't put the cap on. The oil splashed out the cap. The boy had to drive several hours from here. Noticed a bunch of oil being thrown around under the engine. And they managed to get it back to the lube place. The lube place cleans the engine. That's why I got the engine real clean. Because I'm thinking, okay, maybe it consumed oil versus, you know, something else happening. I like the lube place forgetting to put the oil cap on, the oil cap on the valve cover. So long story short, they cleaned the engine. So they cleaned the engine and sent him on his way after they rechecked it. So he drives not too far from there. I want to say about 30 minutes or so, and the motor locks up, and that's what we got, the gaping hole we got now. So yeah, this is a lube place. For those who don't remember, there's a bearing in here that you may forget when you're putting the motor together. And yeah, that bearing right there. So if you're rebuilding these and you forget to put this bearing in there, you ain't gonna have no oil pressure or anything. That'll come out if someone there we go. Someone do it right. So you don't want to forget that if you're rebuilding the motor. Never had that happen. I mean, we'll just take it off right. I'm not gonna cut the chain. We're gonna take off the timing cover now. That's how the back would look. Here's your crank sensor here. You want to take that out. It's a 10mm fastener. Here's our timing chain guide. You got the crank trigger wheel here. If you ever install this, you have an F for front. It's not on the back, so you don't want to screw that up. There's an F here. You'll be F'd up if you put that joker in backwards, put it that way. Here's the timing chain tensioner guide. Doesn't look bad at all. It's a 10. You do have I and E. So this is the exhaust one. It's got the E on here. It faces the exhaust. The I face the intake. If you were to put timing marks. Here's our crank gear, slides right off. Here's our oil pump. Got a tensioner here, spring loaded. I got a 12, that was a 10mm. That's a 14mm. All right, let's pull the head off. I'm going to flip it over so you can see the cylinder head and let some of the oil drain out. This is the, let's see here, this is what we got, the aftermath of it. The valves, I mean, they look normal like any other combustion chamber. Which one was, yep, so this is cylinder 2 was the one that messed up, and we do have, there is pitting inside this chamber on the cylinder head. There is some pitting here, little marks there, nicks. Got the oil in the head gasket. The head gasket looks fine. I mean, honestly, it looked like somebody been through it and put a head gasket on it. I've never seen one that looked this good with 160 something thousand miles on it. I mean, the paint it's not even on the block. I mean, there's nothing on there. Somebody probably been through this. It may have had the warranty. You know, they had a recall with the piston rings being defective. They probably repaired that before, but And I've seen factory, the dealers, you know, use copper spray, so I don't know what the hell they did, but the head gasket looks new. Let's flip it over, take the lower half or the sub assembly out, and pull the crank and see how that looks. This has a guard in there, like a sleeve. Let me pull that out. So here's our rotating assembly. We got the crankshaft. Number 2 journals, what messed up. You can see how messed up that crank journal is. Number 1 started. This is actually the bearing. I never removed it, so that was spinning also. We're gonna pull off 3 and 4 and take a look at those. Pull the crankshaft out, and then we'll inspect the bore and the pistons, and that'll be it. It's our rear main seal. Here's our number 3, which was spinning also. Separated like nothing from the cap. Number 4, spinning also. And that's pretty bad if your number 4 was spinning. It was driving this for a while. This is the last place to get oil from. Here's our number 3. And yeah, I think it went through the, I think the manufacturer probably repaired this, because the rings are not, they're not stuck. You know, you can move the oil rings. The oil ring is going to be at the bottom down here. You got your 2 compression rings. So I think the manufacturer probably replaced these rings because they look really good. And I'm just putting 2 and 2 together because, you know, the head gasket. So, yeah, I can move these rings. These rings are, the oil rings can come off. So yeah, I think the manufacturer went through this based on the head gasket. And how the rings are looking. Yeah, that crank locked up. Let's pull those bearings out. Kind of like the smell of the old grease in there. It's weird. Let's see how the mains look. Yeah, they were starting to spin also. Wow. Pretty bad, man. This engine was driving for a while. It's number 6. Wow, look at that. You could put a pin into that and it'll show copper. That was number 6. It's number 1. I'm not gonna worry about it. number 2. So you see, the closer it got to the oil pump, the better. But this is still like got grit in there. That's a nice. Let's see if it'll rotate. There's a thrush washer down here too. If I can rotate it. So crank. So thrush washers. Now this is bad when your thrush washers are probably bad. Wow. Yeah. The thrush washers are even worn. I mean, wow, that is horrible. I ain't never seen a car that bad. Normally it's just the rod it'll throw and it'll lock up and that's it. Here's the other, this is number 1. Look at that, that's heat right there, that purple. And here's the dome. Pressing rings, the oil ring. Yeah, that oil ring, I mean, it has some spring load right there. You can move it. Let's flip this around one more time. That'll be it. There's our hole. Alright, so here's the knock sensor. If you ever have to remove that, you have to pull the intake off. This is the rear of the block. Here's the front of the block. You you see this oil bypass tube here in the front if you have a 2-way ZFE Toyota engine. But yeah, so that was pretty much it. We saw the damage done by the oil. By the lube place, and it happened. I just hear a lot more strange cases come from them than anywhere else. What was it, Precision Tune around here, Jiffy Lube. I had one car with Walmart, but that wasn't. I think that came from the. It was one of those cars that had the Honda that had a misfire. That came from the auction though, and it's always something new with them auction cars. But the lube places, they've been screwing up, man. I've read some of the comments of what it's like. Maybe they get paid too little, but at the same time, can you appease the people and get dependable people with good pay? I mean, at some point, it's going to become very paradoxical. People are going to want more pay because of the work they're doing, because of the value of the dollar diminish. That's what I think. So you get what you pay for up to a certain point. But the crank was messed up. It looked like the dealer had probably went through it before because they had an oil consumption problem. The rings look really good to have 160,000 miles on it. Unfortunately, they drove without oil because of the oil change place. Forgot to put the cap on. And I am going to find out who it was. I'm going to text her as soon as I get off there with you guys and see who it was. If they screw up, it happens. I mean, they're a chain company, so it's not going to really fall back on an independent person. They got a reputable business. They offer discounts and deals, so their business is not going to be hurt. But I'm not going to talk crap about them. I didn't do it. This is what the customer relayed to me, and I'm just relaying it to the public. But this is the aftermath of what happened, and hey, it is what it is. I have personal accountability. If something happens, I'll update it. I've showed you what I screwed up, and it don't feel too well, but I think they'll be all right. But I'm gonna wrap this up, and like I said, I'll put the name of the company who did this, or the lube place, in the video and the title. But other than that, hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, have that reassurance of my work. See you on the next one.